Hey guys, welcome. It's Don Robertine. I'm here for another playthrough. You can't believe your eyes you see in your sub box in that YouTube window that I have uploaded yet another video of a Let's Play, where I have not done so for quite some time. I came across this game, it's called 80 Days, it's on Steam, and I hope you guys enjoy it. It is kind of a visual novel, it's kind of interactive, choose your own adventure style, which I think is going to be really, really awesome. I hope you guys will join me along the way. As you can probably see by the screen, I have played this game already a little bit, and I'm going to play through the story with you guys. I really hope you enjoy it. So I think let's just jump straight in here into London. We shall begin our adventure. My master returned home from the Reform Club with a strange gleam in his eye. "Passepartout," said he, "we are going around the world. Pack my evening jacket. There is not a moment to waste." "You, Passepartout, now have funds." "Excellent. I have money." As you can see here, we got our money here, the £4,000. Day 1, Tuesday. Now, quickly, Passepartout, collect our things and we will be off. So what are we going to pack? So this is what we're going to have. We've got a Russian train timetable. I think this will be very handy for us. We'll be going through Russia. What else? We've got English poetry, slim volume of poems by the celebrated English poet Percy Shelley. I don't think we'll be doing that. This is valuable in Munich. Now, this is what I love to do, is I love to get these kind of things and, we've got an evening jacket there, and just basically sell them off. So that's all the stuff we've got there from Fogg's apartment. As you can see here, we've got the Russian timetable now, which basically shows us some new routes. Now, even though I have played the game before, it doesn't always show you the new, all the routes that you can take all the time. So as you can see here, we've got some great routes going across. We've got Warsaw to Minsk. Okay. Now, as you can see, basically the premise of this game is based on the Jules Verne book, Around the World in 80 Days. The great thing about this game is that you're not pressured, that you don't have to do it in 80 days if you don't want to. You can do it in a lot less time, 50 days, 40 days. But you could also take your time in 80 days, and you won't be penalized for it or anything else like that. You can just make up your journey and adventure along the way, which is great. So let's depart. Now, shall we go to Cambridge? Let's go to Cambridge. I haven't been to Cambridge before, so let's go there. I always go to Paris first. I think that's because most of the stuff happens on Paris, but if we go to Cambridge, I think we might be able to get over to Amsterdam. We hurried downstairs, only to find a carriage was already waiting. I looked at Monsieur Fogg, but he was as surprised as I was. "To Charing Cross," my master shouted as he clambered in, but the cabby leaned down and shook his head. "Sorry, governor," he replied. "I've been sent to pick you up and take you to Cambridge." "But we are going around the world," I protested. "I don't know about that," the cabby replied, "but I have my instructions." I should probably do like a Cockney accent for him. I'll try that. The man whipped the horses, the magnetic tips of the lash connecting with the spark igniters on the machine's flanks, and then we were off, rattling along the cobbles, heading north. "This is a calamity," I declared, but Monsieur Fogg gestured me to silence. "It is no doubt my old college wishing to encourage me to make a donation," he replied sagely. "Well, perhaps they will have something to offer our cause as well." How could you be so calm when all hung in the balance? Such, of course, was his way. We flew up the Great North Road, the carriage showing an amazing turn of speed that pleased my master greatly. "This is no normal phaeton," I remarked. "Indeed not. It seemed our learned friends have been busy. I have great hopes for this little diversion, Passepartout." And with that, we fell into silence until we arrived a few short hours later. We go on our little journey. We'll have to sleep and explore in the morning. We can do that. The carriage set us down outside the gates to Trinity College. Cabby tipped his hat. And I tipped him. for despite our rough displacement, we had been treated most courteously, and wanted as well to ensure the lower working classes are fairly rewarded. My master, on the other hand, was cheerfully striding inside, nodding to the porter at the gate, whom he appeared to know by name. I hurried to catch up, and caught my master just in time as a daunting figure in a long black robe swooped from a doorway, more or less gathering Monsieur Fogg up in a cloud. I waited for an introduction to be made. The figure stood back and declared itself to be Professor Infrey, head of thaumatology at the college. You must be Passepartout, he declared, rounding on me cheerfully. Tell me, do you prefer coffee or Madeira? I prefer cognac. The professor peered a moment longer, then straightened up and laughed. Well done, Phileas, you've chosen an excellent man here. I'm sure the two of you will go far. His eyes twinkled. Very far indeed. Come with me. As we followed the strange, loping academic, I glanced this way and that, down the resounding stone corridors and up curling wooden staircases. The place was quiet, except for the occasional hurrying youth, all of whom bowed their heads to the professor as we passed. Clearly in some awe of some feature of this curious bird. We arrived eventually at his study, an island of a desk surrounded by a small library that had carelessly tumbled out of its shelves. I hear you are going around the world, Phileas, the professor remarked, and we would like to offer you some assistance. That is most generous, Monsieur Fogg remarked. Not really, the professor replied. You are a Trinity man. Your expedition will be for the glory of Trinity College. We'll put it in our periodical, you see. It will annoy Oxford terribly. It seemed a fair trade. Still, the idea that this strange old gentleman could help our cause was intriguing, and I leant in to hear what was on offer. But, declared the professor, enough business. First you will dine with us in the hall. I have gowns ready for you, and young man, he turned to me, we will be able to muster a fine cognac, I should think. And so, for the first night of our great journey, we dined with silverware and candlelight, under the beady eyes of sombre portraits, and in conversation with a flock of erratically minded men and women, whose discussions turned on a sixpence, from Irish passage, tunes, to aeronautical wingtip design. I became thoroughly overexcited, and when we retired to bed, it was with a smile on my lips and a cry of, "What a marvellous adventure," on my tongue. Your funds have gone down a touch, so it was all not for free. It's a bit of a shame, really, but hey-ho. Let us explore, Monsieur Fogg. We rose, breakfasted in the hall more soberly, and met the professor on the roof. This is what we've been working on, he declared, waving to a folded contraption in front of us. It resembled a sleeping bird. A gyrodyne, the professor continued, powered by the rise of evaporating water through micropores. Most interesting. We were thinking of testing her across the North Sea. We thought you might pilot her. A gyrodyne, I declared. Is she fast? Oh, extremely. We can have you in Christiana within 6 hours, so long as she doesn't crash. The man beamed. So we are agreed. You will take her. Well now, I think we shall. Now, as you can see, in some of these cases, you get these little travel things, and you go down in hearts, and the hearts are here in the bottom left corner. We're going to make sure that doesn't drop down too low, otherwise we failed. I haven't actually failed this. It's pretty hard to fail in this thing, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. The pilot touched the control, and the gyrodyne began to smoke and hiss. It is safe? I demanded. Oh, it's perfectly safe, the pilot replied. We, on the other hand, may be in some trouble. And he grinned. The great craft unfolded its wings, seemed to pause a moment as it waited for a gust of something, and then we were up and away into the air. Mysterious sighting of rocket engineer near Zurich Cathedral. Excellent. The journey across the North Sea was surprisingly brief. The little bird craft bouncing up and down in the air seemed to collect water vapor, rise, dry out, and then fall, and then repeat the process. The pilot seemed untroubled by this motion, so I took it to be normal and sat back enjoying the ride as best as my poor joggled cranium would allow. Finally, we settled on the shores of Norway. A successful test? I asked. Oh, we knew it worked, the pilot said. But the professor wants to say you started your journey with one of ours. Good for the copy. Try to do a little accent there. Probably didn't work. So we're going to have to sleep here and we're going to explore in the morning. Now, obviously we've gone 3 days so far, but hey-ho, we've gone down quite a lot. The streets of Christiana were completely deserted. We did not see anyone anywhere. We found a hotel in the end, but it was deserted and cold, and there was no dining to be had. Monsieur Fogg seemed quite unruffled. We will leave money on the counter, he declared, and perhaps a note that the service could be improved. The stars came out over the empty city. It was cold, but very beautiful indeed. Let's explore, Monsieur Fogg. There we go, we've got some nice new routes. The city was still empty. I was quite puzzled and saw someone to ask, but there was no one about. This is an eerie place, Monsieur Fogg remarked in an uncharacteristic display of emotion. Suddenly the silent streets had a certain menace to them. Perhaps we should be moving on. Perhaps so, he agreed. Let us hope we can find someone to take us on to the next destination, however. So, we can head to Stockholm, but then we'll be stuck there. Copenhagen, much the same. What about Tromsø? Man, that is a lot of money to Tromsø. 84, 120. Let's go to Stockholm. So tomorrow at 11. Okay. Man, we just missed it. Okay. So stay the night here. The city was still empty. We stayed another night in the empty hotel. Monsieur Fogg shivered but did not complain unduly. Okay, so we can tap this to make it go a little bit faster. Okay, gonna embark on this. It's departing in now. Go. And we're on the Northern Lights Zeppelin. God, it's going slow. The Northern Lights was a shabby airship that had clearly been pulled out of active service on some battlefield somewhere, patched and put into use for commercial passengers. I was sufficiently concerned about our safety that I kept the luggage packed at all times and stayed close to the lifeline so we could be ready to rappel down to relative safety at a moment's notice. Let's mend. A shaped moustache. Excellent. My concerns on departure were unfounded, and we landed quite safely. I was glad to be off that ship of fools intact. Good gracious, this is rather more exhausting than I anticipated, and we're only at Copenhagen. So, let's see what we have here. European carriages list might be quite handy. Let's see, we've got a stopwatch. Now, this is valuable in Moscow. We'll probably be going that way. Will we be going to Bucharest? Probably. I haven't completed one of these sets before, so... Tell you what, we'll take the drinking horn. Why not? We may as well take this while we're at it. Okay, so this unlocks a few new routes for us. Ah, awesome! So we can go kind of there. It doesn't let us go to... We want to go kind of to Warsaw, really. If I can... wonder if I can get up to Warsaw. I have nothing but trouble if I start going down to the Middle East kind of area. Okay, got possible route there. Alright, so looks like we're at the hotel again. Copenhagen had spilled out of its old fortifications in the last few years. New homes were built overlooking the gleaming lakes and the glacis, all flattened to provide foundations for new development. We had a few hours to spare, so we wandered the market district near the famous Tivoli Gardens, when we observed a group of young men and women pushing a mix of penny farthings and older rusted bone shakers in the direction of a church. This is a most strange religious observation, I remarked to my master. Do the Danish celebrate inventors as holy men? My master's usually cool eyes had warmed with interest. He possessed a huntsman's instincts for the smallest whiff of that elusive creature known as a wager. The youth rode into the archway of a tall tower rising up behind the church. We followed them, intrigued. My master seemed particularly excited, if his hurried step was any indication. I believe, Passepartout, the tower has a ramp in place of a staircase. These youngsters intend to cycle to the top. The thought made me shiver. The tower was vertiginously high and slope, which we could now see was unforgivingly steep and dimly lit. Monsieur Fogg stepped forward. Excuse me, gentlemen, may I present one more competitor for your race? I could scarcely believe my ears. Was Monsieur Fogg, my Monsieur Fogg, truly going to race these strapping Danish children on a penny farthing? Well, I have to do a girl accent now. Will you ride with us, then? A young girl demanded, eyes glinting in challenge. Indeed not, came the reply. Monsieur Fogg turned and pointed at me. My valet will ride, and he will win. Indeed I shall, I declared, giddy with a sort of crazed, breathless confidence. One of the ladies gave me the loan of a penny farthing with a strict instruction not to injure her precious darling. His name is Frithjof, she said, and he has the best bicycle in all of Copenhagen. I examined Frithjof. He, that is to say it, was a simple affair of pedal, chain, and wheels. Surely I could ride such a straightforward contraption well enough to compare with these Danish enthusiasts. I was hoisted up onto the tiny saddle above the enormous spindly wheel. A little pistol was fired, and then we were off. My friends, the act of writing the tale makes my legs shake and tremble. What a challenge! We pedalled like demons, each turn of the wheel throwing us, screeching halfway around the curved tower. Our shouts echoed between the walls, mingling with the crash of chains and gears from the infernal machines on which we rode. I am rather proud to say I did not lose, but came somewhere in the middle of the pack, collapsing in a breathless purple-pink heap the moment I made it to the top. The girl who loaned me her bicycle seized it back, muttering, "Poor Frithjof," as she checked it for any injury. My master handed over the sum he had bet with good grace, and clapped me on the shoulder. Well played. But I did not win, I gasped, heaving out each word. A wager does not need to be won, he told me firmly. It is to be truly, wholeheartedly attempted. We sat and recuperated at the top of the round tower, watching as a column of black smoke rose from a nearby square. The other velocipedes seemed thoroughly untroubled, so I took their example and ignored the smoke plume. We shared bottles of beer and cups of sweet, pale wine until the air grew cold. My funds have gone down somewhat, because Monsieur Fogg wagered. Okay, so let's go explore Copenhagen. Excellent! We can go straight to Berlin. Happy days. I took a few hours to explore, investigating the various options for how we might continue our journey. Let's depart. Where are we going to go? We could go to Stockholm. Why would I go to Stockholm? Okay. Let's go to Berlin. We can go from Berlin. We'll stay at the hotel again. See what cocky adventures we'll get up to this time. With what remained of the day, I attended to Monsieur Fogg, providing him with fresh clothing. My relationship with Fogg has strengthened slightly. Excellent. So we got his hearts up there. That's important. So let's go to Berlin. Excellent. We're on the Zealand Flyer. We boarded a fast airship called the Zealand Flyer, bound for Copenhagen. That's a bit wrong. Let's converse. Greetings, mademoiselle. Isn't the view incredible? Berlin to Munich. You mentioned carriages. I've been told one can drive by hired phaeton to Madras from Bangalore. Why are you telling me about Madras to Bangalore? I want to know about Berlin. Tell me, Munich to Prague. Probably, but you can pick up diamond chronometers. Okay, excellent. So you see, you get little helpful tidbits here, if you want to sell stuff. So, Munich to Belgrade. Transfer to Belgrade. Here's Vienna. Okay. Okay, excellent. I passed the time. Ooh, what should we do? I tell you what, attending to my master's state, because you'll see why I'm doing this. Like later on, this gets a bit hairy. I passed the time attending to my master's state, keeping him comfortable, and he perked up rapidly. The airship touched down a few hours later, in sunny Berlin. Okay, tell you what, let's go with the market. Okay, let's land Bucharest, oh god. Bucharest. 45, can do that, and then I can get that. Excellent. I don't really need the Zolltrope, but this will be good. Because then once I hit America, I can actually get around quite quickly and easily, if I end up there. Let's go exploring. What adventures will we get up to in Berlin? Okay, so I'm going to Stockholm. Yes, I can go to Warsaw. Excellent. Berlin, they tell me, was once filled with the glorious sound of people speaking French. Not so anymore. Now there is nothing but the crashing of gears. Every street corner is equipped with rotaries and wheeled systems to spin glass globes this way and that. Their purpose is quite unclear, but when I investigated one by throwing my shoes at it, I discovered they were extremely robust. Not glass at all, I suspect, but some kind of crystal. The mystery persisted until nightfall, when these globes all lit up and the people of Berlin clustered around the warmth of the globes to drink beer and converse. It seems they work hard here, but they celebrate with equal vigor. We joined the merriment, earning ourselves the offer of a lift all the way to Bucharest from a stocky blond man who spoke only in dour monosyllables. I sipped at a mug of beer with a thick head and recoiled in horror. These fiends put wheat in their beer. The afternoon turned to evening, and we finished our explorations of Berlin. So, excellent. We can go all the way to Bucharest. Kind of what I want to do. Car departs tomorrow at 8. Because we kind of want to go to Bucharest for the thing. So we could sell our stuff for a lot of money. We stayed for the night in the Hotel Adlon on Unter den Linden, the main boulevard in the central Mitte district. From the window, the Brandenburg Gate was lit up by upturned gas lamps. I decided to retire early, since our driver friend would wish to depart early the next morning. And that he does, so quick, and there. Embark, see, minus 26, that's going to be annoying. But oh well, oh, we've got a fun little guy. We found our German friend the next morning, polishing his car outside the hotel. "The pistons are sparkling," he remarked, showing us his handiwork, and I could only agree. We got into the back and he started the engine, feeding in oil. The car was a variant of the Bozek design manufactured in Warsaw. German made, our driver insisted. And I peered at it more closely. It seemed a few improvements had been made to the design. Your own handiwork? I asked, and the man nodded. My name is Gottlieb Daimler, the man said. This is my pride and joy, though there are still details I am not happy with. He chewed his moustache in thought as he drove. What in particular? I asked, perturbed. I begin to think, he trailed off, that it has too many wheels. Monsieur Fogg did not take much notice of the car and consulted his watch every few minutes. He was, I think, counting each revolution of the wheels and computing our speed. So let's go, Mr. Fogg. Thank you, my good man. I feel better. I done him in a French accent. I should not do him in the French accent. At midday we passed through Prague. The car slowed to a crawl as we weaved through the crowds. I caught a glimpse of an airship behind a line of houses. And as we watched it lifted off to who knew what destination, we headed on up into the mountains of Central Europe. Trinity Man Fogg attempts round-the-world adventure. Although, I haven't really got around. That's part of the fun. On the next day, we passed through Budapest. I asked our driver about it, and he shrugged. I know people who think of this as the center of Europe, he remarked, but that is quite wrong. Where is the center then? I asked, though I could have guessed his reply. Berlin, of course, he replied. Wow, that went slightly French. Our driver paused to take a sharp corner at speed, then turned his head to me and smiled ironically. I was not sorry to leave it behind. Hearing at the last a noise rather like a muffled explosion. I could not wish for a superior valet. Thank you, Mr. Fogg. By the third day, we were settling into a routine. The mountains peeled past, and Daimler drove with careful precision, managing each of the dashboard dials in a complex dance like a chess master playing through a favored opening gambit. I let him get on with it, and we probably traveled faster for my not interfering. Sometimes the best work a valet does is in waiting. Relations with Fogg have strengthened slightly. Excellent. Our long car journey is complete. We stepped from the car into the gloomy streets of Bucharest just after nightfall. I thanked our driver politely. He nodded once. Such was his manner. You'll find that, strengthening the stuff with Fogg is, really, really good because you can get some decent stuff.